Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and thank you for joining us for today's video. Really appreciate that. And guys, today I'm going to share with you a secret that my jig mentor, the guy that taught me how to fish jigs 40 years ago, shared with me. And I'm going to talk about the big fish hop. This is a technique about working a jig, how you manipulate it that generates strikes from bigger bass. And I've actually used this to help me win 2 Bassmaster tournaments. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, I'd like to invite everybody to please swing by fishthemoment.com and check out my lake map breakdowns that I built for Fish the Moment. These are great resources to learn more about your favorite lake or a lake you've never been on before. So I'll put the Fish the Moment lake map breakdown link in the description. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, if you watch the channel very long or some of my other channels, you've heard me talking about Terry Thomas, the Missouri angler who really taught me how to jig fish. And Terry always shared with me what he considered the big fish hop on a jig, because Terry was a jig master and that's what he won most of his tournaments on. Now the big fish hop is actually a way to work a jig that, for whatever reason, and I think it's because of reaction strike, it triggers those bigger fish to hit. Because what happens on a jig is, guys, is when you flip a jig in there by a piece of cover and it goes down and hits the bottom like that. Also, guys, this is, you guys probably heard me talking about it. This is my new Blaukat throwback jig. They got them back in stock at Tackle Warehouse, and I'll put that link in the description if you guys would like to order a few of those. But anyway, jig's on the bottom like that. And as soon as that jig hits the bottom, it makes a noise, because bass can hear, and they got great sense of vibration. They can hear a crawdad scooting across the bottom. So when that head hits the bottom, if there's a bass probably within 20 feet from that particular area, they come over to investigate. And most of the time they'll swim up to that jig, and I've seen them, they'll nose on it, and sometimes they'll even touch the jig with their nose, with their mouth shut, but they don't hit it. And they sit there and look at that thing from different angles. And all of a sudden, if you hop it like that, that's a lot of times when you get the bites, when you work it. Now that'll trigger a strike from a lot of fish. But one of the things that Terry taught me was the big fish hop, where that jig is sitting on the bottom right there, and you pop it really hard like that off the bottom, almost 2 foot off the bottom. And that tremendous volume of forward momentum like that triggers those bigger fish to get really aggressive on that bait and bite it. Now the 2 ways that they're going to bite is when you do the big fish hop. It's like when you pop it up hard like that, they usually hit it at either the top when it stops, or as it starts to fall back down, they'll hit it and you'll just see your line twitch. So what it looks like when you're pitching in there, let's say for example you make a pitch out there, and this is how you work it. It's like, you let it go to the bottom and you go boom boom. I usually do two strokes. I go boom boom, let it go to the bottom, boom boom, let it go to the bottom. Not just like one like that, just go boom boom. And try to move it where the bait goes anywhere between 1 foot to 2 foot off the bottom. Now, how you determine that as far as how much force you put on the hop, it depends on the water clarity. The cleaner the water, the higher you want to hop it off the bottom. The dirtier the water, the shorter. So say for example, if you're flipping a stump and the water's muddy, you've got like 6 inches of visibility and the water's 2 foot deep, you don't want to pop it 2 foot out of the water. So you still want to use the big fish hop relative to that water clarity. So I may pop it 6 or 8 inches off the bottom. But if I'm fishing a boat dock or something, and the water's got 4 or 5 foot of clarity, and I'm pitching in by a boat dock piling, I may want to hop it 2 foot off the bottom, because in that clear visibility water, that gives them more time to detect that visual strike from that thing taking off there. But anyway, guys, Terry called it the big fish hop. It's the way that I fish a jig most of the time. The only time that I don't fish a jig like that is if the water's really cold. Like say if the water temperature is under 55 degrees, then I'll shake it more and just hop it a couple inches off the bottom. But if that water temperature from about May until early October is in the 70s and 80s, that big fish hop will definitely get you a lot of bites. So anyway, it's just another thing to add to your arsenal. Also remember, when you hear tips like this in bass fishing, just remember that every tip is not going to work 100% of the time. Every bass is different, and they got moods and personality. So you can start out and incorporate the big fish hop in your repertoire of fishing, but ultimately you have to listen to what the bass want that day. Someday they may want a big bass hop, a big fish hop. Someday maybe not so much. So try to pay close attention to when you're getting bites or when you're not getting bites, and experiment or stay with something that's working. So just you know, keep an open mind is the best way to it. So anyway, I hope it helps you guys catch a few. We'll talk later.